I'm going to showcase the Gloom Stalker Ranger in this video. I'll discuss his subclass features and offensive spells, and show how each one can be used in combat. Use the timestamps in the description if you want to skip ahead to higher character levels. At level 1, Rangers will be able to select one favored enemy. This feature provides minor benefits, such as bonus proficiencies and capability to cast low-level spells. However, it is important to note that this doesn't grant any additional damage or other combat bonuses against the favored enemy. Mage Breaker, for example, doesn't actually give you bonuses when fighting against mages. I went with Bounty Hunter for the investigation proficiency and the buff it adds to Ensnaring Strike. You can also select one Natural Explorer. Beast Tamer allows you to cast Find Familiar without using a spell slot. Urban Tracker gives proficiency in Sleight of Hand. However, you are better off choosing the Wasteland Wanderers. These give you 50% resistance to cold, fire, or poison. We can see the 50% fire resistance here, and it is rounded up. And of course we can set the ability points. I'll go with the recommended values. At level 2, the Ranger unlocks his level 1 spells. Hail of Thorns is a good offensive spell, and it hits targets within a small area of effect. Although, note that it requires both a regular and a bonus action to cast. Hunter's Mark is a must for Rangers. This gives him bonus damage to marked enemies, and killing them before the spell ends allows the Ranger to cast it on another enemy without expending a spell slot. We can see the 1d6 bonus damage from Hunter's Mark here. For the fighting style, I'll be choosing Archery. This gives a +2 bonus to attack rolls when using ranged weapons. Defense gives +1 to armor class while wearing armor. Dueling gives +2 damage to your melee weapon, provided it isn't a two-handed or versatile weapon, and you're not holding a weapon in your offhand. And two-weapon fighting adds your ability modifier to your offhand weapon attacks. At level 2, the Ranger has 3 initiative. This determines how soon he moves in combat. This is one of the Gloom Stalker's defining factors. They have the highest initiative among the Ranger subclasses. At level 3, the Ranger can finally select a subclass. Gloom Stalkers gain the Dread Ambusher feature. This adds 3 points to their initiative score, and gives them a bonus attack on the first turn of combat. We can see Dread Ambusher right here. This bonus attack can be performed with either a ranged or melee weapon. I'm going to use Hunter's Mark first to give my attacks extra damage. After the enemy died, we can see here we can reapply it, but since we no longer have a bonus action, we can only do this on our next turn. And now, I'll use the ranged Dread Ambusher for my second attack this turn. After hitting the enemy, the Dread Ambusher attack icons disappeared. We can no longer use it on the succeeding turns. Gloom Stalkers also gain superior dark vision, allowing them to see in the dark up to 24 meters. The Dread Ambusher hide is similar to the regular hide action, except for one notable difference. The regular hide is a regular action, while Dread Ambusher hide is a bonus action.
No sign of the others yet.
Both gives you advantage when attacking enemies. Umbral Shroud turns the Gloom Stalker invisible for 10 turns, provided they are obscured. We can see here that in the shade, we can use Umbral Shroud, but not in sunlit areas. It also loses its effect if you leave the shade. And finally, Gloom Stalkers get the spell called Disguise Self. This allows them to magically change their appearance. Take your pick from the 32 options here. Turning into a drow will make the goblins think you are Minthara's ally, and turning into a gnome or halfling allows you to crawl into small passages. Just 2 of its possible uses. At this level, they gain another level 1 spell slot. The +4 spell attack bonus increases the chance to hit of the Gloom Stalker's spells. The difficulty class of their spells is currently 12, meaning enemies must roll 12 or higher to resist the Gloom Stalker's spells. I'm going to use Ensnaring Strike to demonstrate this.
Minthara's gonna skin us.
The goblin will be unaffected with a roll of 12 or higher. However, it only rolled 5 on his saving throw, and so it was ensnared. At this level, the Gloom Stalker's initiative is now 6. In Act 1, this will already guarantee that he always acts first in combat. At level 4, we can select a feat. I'll go with Ability Improvement here. It's always advisable to have an even ability score, since you get no ability modifier increase on odd numbers. So I'll increase Dexterity to 18, and Wisdom to 16. Since the Dexterity modifier is used for determining the initiative score, Gloom Stalker now have 7 initiative. They receive an extra attack at level 5. And gain Misty Step as a bonus spell. This allows them to teleport to a spot within their line of sight. This is very helpful should enemies manage to get too close to you, which will happen more often than you think. These arrows indicate that the enemies will hit you with 2 opportunity attacks should you attempt to get away from them. But you'll be scot-free if you use Misty Step. Level 2 spells will be unlocked at this level. And the spell difficulty class of Gloom Stalker's spells is now 13. Spell attack bonus is also increased to 5. I'll choose Silence here to disable spellcasters and finish them off quicker from a distance. This can also be used to cancel out all noises, when you're sneaking about for instance, or to stop enemies from calling for backup. In the fight against Priestess Gut, you need to kill her very quickly, or she'll alert the goblins, and all within earshot will join the fight, as can be seen here. However, if she's within the silence bubble, it would be impossible for her to call for help. She can still attack of course, but will not be able to alert the other goblins in the area. Rangers get to select another favored enemy at level 6 and 1 natural explorer class feature. Again, choose any that suits your playstyle. I'm going to choose Keeper of the Veil for favored enemy, and Wasteland Wanderer Cold for 50% cold resistance. Gloom Stalkers gain Iron Mind at level 7. This gives them proficiency in Wisdom and Intelligence saving throws. Different spells require different saving throws. Tash's Hideous Laughter requires a Wisdom saving throw to resist. This spell only has a 35% chance of succeeding against the Gloom Stalker. However, both Astarion and Lae'zel has 65% chance of being affected. Phantasmal Force requires an Intelligence saving throw to resist. Against the Gloom Stalker, it has 55% chance of succeeding. Surprisingly, Astarion appears to be resistant to this spell, but against Lae'zel, this spell is very effective. Another spell slot have been unlocked at this level, and spell difficulty class is now 14, while spell attack bonus is increased to 6. I'm going to select Spike Growth this time. This spell hinders the enemy's movements, deals damage, and lasts for as long as you maintain your concentration. Enemies walking over it will take damage. Its area of effect is also quite large, so it's a very handy spell. At level 8, Gloom Stalkers will no longer be hindered by difficult terrain. They can thus move normally in deep water. Don't ask, the game refers to this as deep water. Spikes is also considered a difficult terrain. And as we can see here, it doesn't affect the ranger. Unlike Lae'zel, they also get to select another feat. I am choosing Sharpshooter here. This gives a -5 penalty to attack rolls, but deals an additional 10 points of damage. This high ground rules being mentioned here states that when you are at least 2.5 meters below your target, attacking them with a ranged weapon applies a -2 penalty to your attack roll. With this feat, this penalty no longer applies. At level 9, they receive a bonus spell called Fear. This prevents the affected enemy from moving for 2 turns and makes him drop his weapon. Level 3 spells will be unlocked at this level. I will only cover the offensive spells in this video, starting with the Lightning Arrow spell. This spell deals a maximum of 48 lightning damage, and can also hit the enemies around the main target. Gloom Stalkers gain hide in plain sight at level 10, which is utterly useless. You will not be able to cast it in combat. And if you do cast it outside of combat, to steal a basket of potatoes for example, make any kind of movement and it'll be dispelled. And it turns out these are oranges, not potatoes. Talk about useless. They get to select another favored enemy, a natural explorer class feature at this level. You would have gotten 50% resistance to cold, fire and poison damages already if you have picked all 3 Wasteland Wanderer features. At level 11, Gloom Stalkers get Stalker's Flurry. Once per round, this allows him to perform another attack if he misses. He gets another level 3 spell slot, and the difficulty class of his spells is now 15. Spell attack bonus is increased to 7. We get to select one final feat at level 12. I'm picking Savage Attacker here. This allows you to roll your damage dice twice and use the highest value. The spell Conjure Barrage can hit multiple enemies and deals a maximum of 26 slashing damage. This can be performed by both a melee and ranged weapon. The last offensive level 3 spell is Plant Growth. This cuts the movement speed of enemies by 75%. This is very useful for slowing melee enemies, or when you need to turn tails and run. I'm going to show Stalker's Flurry in this fight. The combat just started here. The regular attack hit, and so did the extra attack, which was unlocked at level 5. The Dread Ambusher ranged attack missed. That triggered Stalker's Flurry, giving the Gloom Stalker one more attack this turn. I'm creating a similar video for Oath of Vengeance and Spores Druid, in response to the survey results. Thanks to everyone who participated in it last month. Thanks for watching.